We're gonna do a 24-hour readathon. I know. Oh, holy crap. Exhausted. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. For today's video, I am going to be doing a 24-hour readathon. It's been quite a while since I last did one of these, and honestly they're one of my favourite things to film, one of my favourite things to watch myself, and also I just want to feel productive. Like, I'm in that in-between stage waiting to start uni, and I feel like I need to do something that makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something, so we're gonna do a 24-hour readathon. I did put a poll up on the community tab for YouTube asking what sort of readathon you guys would most like to see, and I gave the option of how many thrillers can I read in 24 hours, how many romances can I read in 24 hours, or how many books in whatever series can I read in 24 hours. I do plan to do all of these, and I do plan to do quite a few of the how many of this series can I read in 24 hours. I'm just still deciding on what series I want to do for that. So if there's any series you particularly like for me to try and read within 24 hours, or see how many at least that I can read in 24 hours, even if it's not likely that I'm going to finish them all, then please do comment down below because I would love to give you what you guys want to see. But for today, I think the overwhelming choice was how many thrillers can I read in 24 hours, which obviously I am not mad about. Your gal loves a thriller. It is the start of spooky season, it is raining and misty outside, it is perfect weather for a 24-hour thriller readathon. So I do have a few books on my TBR for the next 24 hours. I don't know how many I'm going to get through. I've given myself 4. I'm not sure if that's a bit too ambitious. It needs to be at least 2. I'm kind of thinking at least 3. I'm hoping I can be really successful with this. I will just go through the books that I have on my TBR just now. I had about 8 thriller books that have been on my physical TBR for a while, so I actually sent Brandon, my boyfriend, a photo of those, and basically just a photo of them all stacked up, the title, and then a 1-line synopsis for each, and he sent me back the ones that he thinks I should do. So this is kind of also like a boyfriend picks my TBR, but purely because I could not decide which ones I wanted to read. Although one of the ones that he picked is actually one that I really wanted to read anyway, so perfect. So the books that I have on my TBR are Friend Request by Laura Marshall. This one is basically about a young woman who gets a friend request from a girl from her past who is already dead. Which, this is the one that I really want to read anyway because the synopsis for it just really intrigues me. It kind of reminds me of the film Unfriended, if you've seen that. One of my favourite horror movies, so yeah, really intrigued by this one. The next one I have is 13 by Steve Cavanagh. I think this is actually a series, but I'm sure someone's told me before you don't have to read them in order. They're kind of just like all thrillers with the same detective maybe, and you can just read whichever one you want whenever. This one is basically about a court case for a murder where the murderer is on the jury. I know. This one I'm actually going to be buddy reading with my good friend Leah because purely coincidentally she decided she was going to do a 24-hour readathon today as well. She actually started hers a few hours ago, but we're going to try and start this one at the same time and then read it together at the same time for our readathon, which I'm so excited for. I think it's going to be super cute and just a really good thing to do with Leah because she is one of my thriller queens, so yeah. Really excited for that. The next one I have is The Escape Room by Megan Goldin, which I'm pretty sure has been made into a film. This one is basically about 4 people, I think, who are like high flyers on Wall Street, and then they get stuck in an elevator escape room. I don't know if that's just like a normal elevator that someone has turned into an escape room, or if it's actually one of those escape rooms that you can go to yourself. I'm not clear on that yet. Basically, they get stuck in one of those and their secrets are brought out and they're trying to figure out all these clues, and what they ultimately have to figure out is which one of them is a killer, which sounds interesting too. All of these sound like really fast-paced thrillers that I'm hopefully going to be able to devour within this readathon. And the final one that I have is actually a NetGalley arc. Obviously I've been speaking about NetGalley a lot recently because I've started using it again. I created a new profile and mostly just for thrillers, to be honest, because there's always a ton of thrillers on there. And this one is called The Mother's Fault by Nicole Trope, I believe. And this one is basically about a mum who seemingly everything is fine and perfect and dandy, and then her little boy goes missing, and it turns out that she has been keeping a lot of secrets from him and from everyone else for all of her life, and she has always feared for him. And now that her son has gone missing, obviously she's working with the police to try and get her son back, but she's having to hide things from them. She definitely believes her past has come back to bite her, and that is what has come for her son. The more she works with the police, the more they start to question her as well, because she's clearly got stuff to hide. So it's a psychological thriller. That's basically all I know about it, but it sounded really interesting, and yeah, yeah, those are the books on my TBR, these three and The Mother's Fault as well. I'm really excited for all of them. I don't know how many I'm going to get through. We shall see. I think I've just been messaging Leah and we decided that we're going to read 13. Well, I'm going to read 13 first. She has just finished a book and started another one, but she's going to put that on pause so that we can start 13 together, and that could be my first book. And then I'm thinking I'll maybe go into friend request next, because that one is the one that's really, really intriguing me. But we'll see how I feel once I finish 13. So yeah, we're going to start 13. Get cozy. I haven't actually mentioned I'm starting this quite late on. That is why Leah has already started. I wanted to start at 6:30. It's now 6:40, but we'll probably start about 6:45. Go for 24 hours. I did want to do this the usual like sort of start at noon, but I had an optician's appointment at 4:30, and then I kind of wanted to wait for Brandon to go off to night shift. So he left about 6, and then I've basically just been fanning around since then. So that's how it goes. But hopefully I'll be able to start at 6:45, go till 6:45 tomorrow, and then my reading sprints will be at 7. So it's going to be a very hectic 30 or so hours for me, but exciting ones all the same. So yeah, I'm going to get cozy now, message Leah, and we can start 13 by Steve Cavanagh. Hello, so I have been reading for a few hours now and I have just hit page 139. So I'm this far through the book at the moment and I am really enjoying this one. Like, I have really high hopes for this, which I know I said with the last thriller that I read and I was completely wrong, but I'm feeling good about this one. I've heard really good things about this one as well, and so far it's just so good. We are following two perspectives. We're following the perspective of the serial killer who has successfully wormed his way on to the jury for this massive court case where a high profile celebrity is being tried for having murdered his wife and his security guard, who were found in bed naked together, both dead. And then we were following a lawyer who's been called in to work on this case and to prove that this actor celebrity has actually been framed for this double murder. So we're following those two perspectives, which is so interesting. I've said before, I always find it really interesting when we follow the perspective of the murderer. I just find that really interesting to see what he's doing, and this one is a very twisted one indeed. As I said, he has got himself onto the jury for this court case through some very disturbing, violent and brutal ways. So if you are not into violence, if you can't handle a bit of gore, then this one is definitely not for you, because it is quite violent right from the outset, but it's really interesting. We're constantly getting most of the time one chapter from the killer and then one chapter from the lawyer. I think that's such an interesting dynamic to see how they're both involved in this case. It also seems to be taking place over the course of about a week, so it starts 2 days before the trial begins, which is a Monday, and each part has the day as its title. So I have so far read Monday and Tuesday, and that's taken this much already, and now I'm about to start Wednesday. So I'm gonna assume it looks like the last, oh my god, it's only 5 days. It looks like the last part is actually Friday, so this only takes place over 5 days, but there's so much in it already that is just so interesting. And it's really interesting looking at how the lawyer is building this case and doing all of his investigations to find out what's going on here. And then we've also got the perspective of the killer and learning more about him and his background and why he's doing what he's doing. It's just a really good, tense thriller so far, and I feel like it's got potential to be very twisty as well. I have no idea where it's going, but really enjoying it so far. So yeah, I think I'm over a third of the way through. Ideally, like I said, I really want to finish this one tonight before I go to bed. It is currently 5 to 10. but I have been distracted a couple of times by various family members, so hopefully now that everyone's gone to bed I can just curl up and read this. And I always feel like if a thriller is a good one, I usually read the second half of it very fast because I get so caught up in it, and usually it's really fast paced in the second half. So fingers crossed, if I cozy up now and get reading, I can read this one before I go to bed tonight. Maybe it'll take me like another 4 hours or so. Oh, so it's gonna be like 2 in the morning by the time I go to sleep, but we'll see. I do have liquid energy to keep me going, so yes, this will be coming in handy, an absolute must for a 24-hour readathon. Sorry, not sorry. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue with this one just now, and I will get back to you when I have some more thoughts. Hi guys, so I've just come downstairs to do this little update because I didn't want to wake up any of my family who are currently sleeping upstairs. But I just finished 13 by Steve Cavanagh and holy crap, 5 stars, absolutely no doubt about it. This book was insane. Like one of the best thrillers I have ever read. I've never read a thriller based around a court case before, and I really loved that aspect to it. It was really interesting to read, particularly because you were looking at one of the perspectives we were reading from was one of the lawyers. It was really interesting to read about all the techniques that lawyers use in court cases to sort of like sway the jury and bring the jury around to their way of thinking, and how kind of corrupt a lot of it is. And if not corrupt, just very obviously bending the rules to get their way. But honestly, this book just had me on the edge of my seat the whole way. Like I could not stop reading it. The twists, oh my god, there were so many twists, so many things that kept popping up that I just did not see coming. I had no idea what was going on in this book. Like obviously there was loads of clues throughout because it all made complete sense by the end. Everything was wrapped up so well, but I just did not see any of it coming. Like there was so many twists right up until the end, and oh, honestly, this book, so good. I just like, there are so many thrillers that have really disappointed me because they've had such a good premise, but the execution has just not been it. Whereas this one, oh my god, the execution completely lived up to the premise. I was really excited for the premise to begin with, but the way that it was done was just perfect. It was so cleverly written, so many different plot lines that were all tied together perfectly by the end. I'm just so impressed with Steve Cavanagh's writing. Like honestly, need some more Steve Cavanagh in my life. And I realised that it is a series, so I think this is like book 4, and the books follow Eddie Flynn, who is the lawyer in this one, the lawyer whose perspective we get, and the books all follow him and his career and his journey. And there are some references throughout to the previous books. Like in this one he mentions stuff about how his daughter has been wrapped up in his work before, and it's been really difficult for him and it's made him think about leaving. And I'm pretty sure the first book, when I just looked it up there now, is all about him having to save his daughter from something, which is really interesting. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to read the other books in this series because this one was just amazing. So happy to have started my readathon with a 5-star thriller. Only thing I would say is, yeah, it is, the violence kind of subdues after the first few chapters, and then it's all about the court case, and it's all just really interesting watching that unravel and watching the different things that the lawyers have up their sleeves and the things that they find out throughout. That whole thing was really interesting, and then it does get a little bit violent again towards the end, so I would just say that just as a trigger warning for some people, because I know some people will struggle with that. For me it's fine, and I absolutely love this book, so yeah. So happy. Right now though, it is like 1:20 in the morning, so I am pretty tired. I think I'm gonna go to bed just now and probably sleep for a few hours. My goal is to get up fairly early in the morning, like 9 at the latest, like very latest, and then start the next book. But yeah, I'm so happy with how this evening has gone. I'm so happy that I was able to just fly through this one. I loved it so much that I didn't want to put it down. So I'm so glad this is my first book for the readathon, because that's exactly what you want, just one that you cannot put down. So yeah, it's all working out well. I'm feeling very positive. Hopefully that energy juice will start to subdue in my body soon so that I can get some sleep. I think I'm gonna get something to eat, maybe watch an episode of Big Bang Theory, chill, calm down from this whirlwind of a book, and then yeah, go to sleep, wake up bright and early tomorrow morning and get started on the next thriller. Hi guys, so it is the next day now. Crashed out fairly quickly after I last spoke to you last night. I just got some food because I was absolutely starving, and I watched some Big Bang Theory, and then I managed to fall asleep. I got up at about 9 o'clock this morning, which is a bit later than I'd wanted. I really want to get up more like 7 and get some good hours of reading in, but that just didn't happen. I could not drag myself out of bed this morning at all, so it's fine. We got up at 9. I have been having quite a slow morning and I keep getting distracted by various family members, but I have been doing some reading, as you will have seen, and I have started Friend Request by Laura Marshall, and I'm really enjoying this one so far. We're following the character of Louise, who in the present day 2016 is a 40-something-year-old single mum who lives alone and looks after her 4-year-old son. Right on the first page, she gets a friend request from Maria Weston, who is a girl that has been dead for 25 years. So literally immediately, first page, you're hooked. You need to know what's going on here. It then flashes back to 1989, which is when she was 16 in school, and Maria Weston was the new kid at her high school. And we know from the present day that she was not particularly nice to Maria. Something happened. Maria ended up, we believe, falling off a cliff after a nearby leavers party for school. Her body was never recovered, but that isn't very uncommon for someone who has fallen off those cliffs, which apparently people did quite a lot. A lot of people ruled it as suicide, but we know from the present day that Louise feels very guilty about this, and she did something very wrong and presumably had something to do with this girl's death. So in the present day, we've got Louise trying to figure out who it is that sent this friend request and is sending subsequent threatening messages to her, whether it is a relative or someone new Maria who is here to sort of punish Louise for what she did in the past, or if Maria somehow survived this accident and it is her herself back for revenge. So we're following the two different timelines, 2016 and 1989. We're flowing between them constantly, getting some more information about what happened in the past when they were at school, while also following Louise trying to work out what's going on now in present day. And yeah, it's really interesting, like I said, because it starts right from the beginning. You are instantly hooked, instantly have a million questions, need to know what's going on, and it just does not stop after that. There's more questions being raised, there's things slowly being answered. I do think the pacing is really good in this one. You're getting enough information to keep you intrigued, but not enough for you to have any clue whatsoever what is going on. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying this one. As I said, I'm on a page 112 just now, so probably just less than a third of the way through. It is 1:15 at the moment, so I still have 5 hours left of my readathon. I am confident that I'll get this one finished and possibly start another one as well. Hopefully start another one. But yeah, it has been a slower morning than I would have liked. I would have liked to have been at a better point by now, but that's just the way things go. I'm going to be doing a lot of 24-hour readathons in the future, hopefully like one a month. So other readathons may be more successful than this one, but nevertheless it has been successful because I'm really enjoying everything that I'm reading. Hi guys, so I've been doing a lot more reading. I'm now on page 270 of the friend request, which means I just have about 100 pages left. And I'm still really enjoying it. I'm still really intrigued to see where it's going. But I do feel like it just needs to move along a bit. Like, I don't feel like much has happened and it just feels very samey. Like, she's just getting these messages from this dead girl and that's like just trying to work out if she's like alive or not. I don't know, I just feel like not much is really happening and I'm getting a little bit bored, but I'm still intrigued. I'm just hoping that in the next 100 pages it's gonna speed up a bit and have like a good climactic ending where everything is wrapped up properly. But yeah, I think it's just after reading 13 last night, obviously I was like hanging on every word of that book and I was constantly on the edge of my seat. So to read something that's a little bit slower, it's just not quite hitting the same mark. I am also exhausted. So that's probably not helping. Actually so tired. It's probably not helping that I'm lying in my bed either, but I just wanted to be comfy. Brandon came and took the games room because he wanted to play the new FIFA before he has to go to work tonight. So yeah, I'm in bed. There is a strong chance that I may nap because I am very tired. And I also have my sprints tonight and I don't want to be like falling asleep on them, so we'll see. It's 3:45. So I've got like 3 hours left of my readathon, so yeah, definitely gonna finish this one if I don't sleep and hopefully start the escape room as well maybe. But yeah, for now I just need to try and get through these last 100 pages without falling asleep. Hi friends, so the readathon is officially over and I did manage to finish my second book for this readathon and that was of course Friend Request by Laura Marshall. I have decided to give this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I did really enjoy it. I really enjoyed the premise. As I said, it was very intriguing. I was very hooked from the beginning because it started right in the action. It got straight down to it and I really enjoyed the 2 timelines and everything that was brought up in those, particularly in the timeline from 1989 when they were 16 years old at school, of being a young girl or a young boy at school and things about popularity and bullying and how a lot of time people end up being not the person they really are to try and stop themselves from being bullied, but in turn end up hurting other people. Things like that. That whole idea was really interesting to read about because I think everyone has been through something like that at some point in their life, whether they've been on the bully side of it or the bullied side of it. And just that idea of sort of trying to impress people constantly and how hard and exhausting that is. I know I definitely went through that for a long time. I thought I had to impress populars and I thought that I had to be like them and life would be easier if I was cool and all that jazz. And obviously things are very different once you leave school and you realise how ridiculous all that is, but it is very hard when you're in the thick of it. However, as is often the case with thrillers, I just felt like the second half got quite boring. I just wanted things to move along. I just wanted things to be explained. I didn't feel like much was really happening. And then the actual resolution itself, like the reveals, they were like interesting enough and everything was wrapped up really well and I thought it all made a lot of sense once it was all properly explained. It just wasn't particularly shocking or like particularly exciting. I don't know. Other people might disagree because I do think it was well written in that sense that everything did make sense at the end, because some thrillers I get to the end and I'm just like, really? This one, it made sense. It just wasn't anything that really excited me that much. I was waiting for like big reveals and I suppose there were, but there was just something about this one that just didn't quite do it for me. So enjoyable but nothing special and therefore a 3 out of 5 stars. I did, after finishing that, end up falling asleep however because I was absolutely exhausted. This probably wasn't the best time to do a 24-hour readathon because I am still ill and have absolutely no energy whatsoever. I've got that cold going around that everyone's talking about where everyone is just exhausted all the time. So this really wasn't the best time for a readathon, but I did have fun with it nonetheless and did end up reading it a 5-star book. So yeah, it was good. And as I said, I'm hoping to do more 24-hour readathons in the future and a lot more often because they are one of my favourite things to do, just hopefully when I've got a little bit more energy. So yeah, that will conclude this 24-hour thriller reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know in the comments down below what other sort of 24-hour readathons you'd like to see me do, whether there's more thriller ones, romance, another genre, or like I said, if there's a particular series you'd like to see me try and binge in 24 hours, anything like that. Just comment down below what you would like to see. But as always, if you did enjoy this video, then do please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe for more bookish content from me. Comment down below with any of your thoughts and feelings. I do reply to every single comment. I love you all and I will see you in my next one.